Is your day going well? Hey everyone, welcome to Why Is That? The podcast series that always starts with why questions based on the first principle thinking method. This approach offers you diverse perspectives on various life issues, helping you cultivate a truly authentic spirit. Join us for this episode. Why does Pinocchio's nose grow when he lies? Surely, every child among us has heard the story of Pinocchio, the wooden boy who was lazy, loved to play, easily led astray, and cursed to have his nose grow longer every time he lied. This detail has become an iconic symbol in children's literature and a vivid embodiment of the lesson about honesty. It deeply haunted and embedded itself in the subconscious of many children, myself included, back then. I genuinely believed that if I lied, the tip of my nose would unnaturally extend, and I would be caught. But what you might not know is that scientists have proven the opposite. According to the latest research, scientists from the University of Granada in Spain have discovered that when a person lies, their nose actually shrinks compared to its usual size. Specifically, in 2019, Dr. Emilio Gomez Milan conducted an experiment with 60 volunteers. They were asked to call friends or family and lie for 3 to 4 minutes. During this time, an infrared scanner meticulously monitored their bodies. Based on the infrared scan results, researchers found that when lying, the temperature of the nose tip decreased by 1.2 deg C, while the temperature of the forehead increased by 1.5 deg C. To explain this, Dr. Emilio stated that lying requires significant brain activity, which raises the forehead's temperature. Simultaneously, the feeling of anxiety causes a slight drop in the nose tip's temperature. Therefore, the nose naturally contracts as a reflex. However, this change is so minuscule that it's imperceptible to the naked eye. Quite an interesting truth, isn't it? Personally, I don't think whether the nose grows longer or shrinks when lying is important. Ultimately, this detail serves a single purpose: to remind the liar that all dishonest actions leave a mark and are easily exposed. Perhaps because a shrinking nose wouldn't be as noticeable as a growing one, the author of The Wooden Boy Pinocchio chose the option of elongation rather than contraction. The image of Pinocchio's lengthening nose every time he lies might sound humorous and whimsical at first, but the more we ponder it, the more we realize it holds a profound, underlying meaning. Lying is never harmless. It always leaves some trace, whether small or large, visible or invisible. But why the nose and not some other body part? Why not long hair, long ears, or a long mouth? In symbolic literature, the nose sits centrally on the face, a place that cannot be hidden. When Pinocchio lies, his nose grows as an immediate, uncontrollable, and undeniable reaction. It's how the story's world retaliates against deceitful behavior, exposing it clearly, concretely, and publicly. Each of Pinocchio's lies is a stab at his own innocence. Instead of being discovered by others, the truth automatically exposed Pinocchio through the change in his physical appearance. It was an unavoidable punishment. From an educational perspective, this is a vivid, visual tool that helps children understand that dishonest behavior always comes with consequences. It may not happen instantly in real life as it does in the story, but it will certainly manifest in another form: suspicion, loss of trust, and the gnawing feeling of a guilty conscience. Pinocchio lied for many reasons: fear of punishment, wanting to play, wanting candy, not wanting to be judged. All of these are very human, very natural. Lying, in many cases, appears as a self-defense mechanism, a reflexive action to avoid consequences or to achieve immediate goals. We ourselves have been like that. From the first time we lied to our parents about breaking a cup, to growing up and lying about our emotions, relationships, or achievements. Lying becomes part of the growth process, not to encourage it, but so we can learn to choose between short-term gain and long-term cost. So, what exactly are the different types of lies? Deception comes in countless forms, but not all deceptive actions are lies. There can be self-serving lies asterisk, which are falsehoods aimed at achieving personal gain, such as cheating on exams, falsifying a resume, or making false advertisements. Or there can be asterisk defensive lies asterisk, which often arise when people want to conceal mistakes, fear being hurt, or fear hurting others, like a child breaking something but denying it. Additionally, we must also consider *** altruistic lies, also known as white lies, where people intentionally hide a truth to protect the listener's feelings, such as complimenting an unwanted gift to avoid upsetting the giver. Looking back at Pinocchio's story, we'll find that the first lie came from Geppetto, Pinocchio's father. He sold his coat, lying to the boy that he sold it because he was too hot to buy books for Pinocchio to go to school. Then there are also self-deceptive lies where people lack the courage to face reality and fabricate a more pleasant story to continue living. All these forms reflect a deep-seated human need to be accepted, loved, and safe, even if it sometimes means straying from one's true self. Thus, lies are not always the same in purpose, consequence, or intent. However, what troubles us is not just that people lie, but how they distort the truth in more subtle ways, such as withholding partial information or telling half-truths to lead the listener to a false conclusion. This is when we need to ask ourselves, half a loaf of bread is still bread, but is half a truth still the truth? When asked, "How are you?" most of us reflexively reply, "I'm fine." We understand that the question is just a social greeting, not an invitation to discuss career frustrations, marital difficulties, or our digestive ailments. These evasive actions can be a form of deception, but we are not lying. We might avoid stating the truth at that moment, but we are not intentionally fabricating falsehoods. In his 2013 book Lying*, author Sam Harris shared, "The boundary between lying and deception is often blurry. We can even deceive with the truth. For example, I can stand on the sidewalk in front of the White House and call Facebook headquarters. 'Hello, this is Sam Harris. I'm calling from the White House and I would like to speak to Mark Zuckerberg.' My words, in a narrow sense, would be true, but they are calculated to deceive. Am I lying then? Not exactly. Am I telling the truth? Not entirely. Half a loaf of bread, though incomplete, still sustains people. But if half a truth is used to deceive, to conceal, to mislead others, then it is no longer the truth. It is a deception wrapped in the cloak of truth. In today's era, we are not lacking in half-truths, from truncated news and evasive statements to fabricated images designed to create false emotions. Like Pinocchio, many people in modern society hide parts of the truth for personal gain, to build an image, or to avoid hurt. But the price of living in half-truths is not cheap. It is the loss of trust, a feeling of emptiness, and the loneliness of no one truly knowing who you are. What about harmless lies then? They stem from good intentions, right? Yes, they may not carry malicious intent, but they are still lies. According to the fairy in the Pinocchio story, falsehoods are bad because they cause bad results for those who tell them. One lie will give rise to another. This is also the view of the two Greek philosophers, Isocrates and Plato. If deception can be avoided, it should be, because it leads to negative consequences for the liar themselves. Unlike telling the truth, a lie always needs to be protected from exposure. The liar will face stress to continue the concealment. Whether harmless or harmful, once a lie is told, that person has infringed upon the freedom of those they care about. Honesty, integrity, mutual understanding, and other treasures of morality are destroyed the moment we intentionally misrepresent our thoughts, regardless of whether they are discovered or not. We cannot discuss the right or wrong of harmless lies because that depends on the liar and the recipient of the lie. How they feel, and whether they accept or firmly reject it, leading to a loss of trust in each other. Sometimes, behind painful truths, there are deeper truths hidden. The deeper truth is that you love the other person and want them to be happy, but if it truly stems from heartfelt love, it's still best to be honest. At the end of the story, Pinocchio was transformed into a real boy by the fairy. Not because he had learned the value of honesty, but because it was a reward for his kind heart. Any child who is kind to their parents and helps them in their struggles deserves praise and appreciation, even if they haven't always been obedient and well-behaved. Try to be kind in the future, and you will be happy. Coming into the world as a wooden puppet, Pinocchio only knew how to play, lie, and run from consequences. But he changed not through magic, but through self-awareness, knowing how to correct his mistakes, and a burning desire to become a real person. That journey is also the journey of each of us, from carefree to conscious responsibility, from hiding to bravely facing. Maturity doesn't just come with age, but with the ability to take responsibility for our words and actions. Lying might bring temporary benefits, but telling the truth, however difficult, brings lasting relief. Like Pinocchio's nose, every lie not only changes outward appearance, but also leaves its mark on our inner character. Furthermore, truth is not just an individual moral act, but also a bond between people. We build relationships on a foundation of trust, and trust only exists when there is truth. A person might be loved for their talent or appearance, but they will only be truly trusted and maintain lasting connections when they live honestly. So from now on, must we commit to never lying? Because only by living honestly do we avoid paying a price? The answer is no. In my opinion, living honestly is not about revealing everything, but about not deceiving asterisk. As Anatole France once shared, "I love truth above all things. I believe that all men need it. But it seems to me, humanity needs lies even more to comfort us, to sweet-talk us. It brings us wonderful hopes." Without lies, humanity would perish in despair and boredom. Committing to honesty does not necessarily require us to disclose personal information we wish to keep private. There are times when keeping a part of the truth private is a legitimate right, not a deceptive act. We don't need to reveal our income to strangers. We're not obligated to share every detail of our personal relationships or expose deep-seated vulnerabilities just to prove we're honest. So, when someone asks you how much money you have in your bank account, you don't need to give an exact number. The most reasonable truth in that situation would be, "I prefer to keep that to myself." That's not a lie. It's a refusal to share information that crosses your personal boundaries. Between the two extremes of lying and telling all, there is a middle ground of intelligent honesty knowing when to speak, when to remain silent, and what to protect. Pinocchio's long nose is a gentle but profound reminder that every time we choose deceit, whether accidentally or intentionally, we are extending our own invisible nose. Something that will affect how others see us and how we see ourselves. In a world where truth is sometimes distorted, where social media easily polishes images and blurs facts, choosing honesty becomes more valuable than ever. You don't have to reveal everything, you don't have to live completely exposed, but always be aware that half a truth is not the truth. And living truthfully is not just a responsibility to others, but also a liberation for yourself. Bye.